travel spear gun is not just for when you're travelling on a plane or going overseas. It's super handy to have in the boat because being so compact, you don't have to worry about it getting in the way. I don't have to worry about screws or carrying an Allen key or a screwdriver. It's a kit set spear gun, so it goes together nice and easy.
The Wettie travel spear gun is easy to put together and practical in use. If you're struggling with space or want a really compact option, it's great to have one of these on hand.
I'm ready to rock. Let's see what I can get with it.
First up, a bit of target practice on some kohiru. The plan is to try and find a few snapper and maybe pick up a kingfish later in the day. We stumbled across this nice rock, which had plenty of current pouring onto the front of it, and the result was a nice big school of snapper. Rather than blow my cover, I decide on a deeper ambush to try and get closer to some bigger snapper that might be underneath the school. I use all these demoiselles and blue mau for cover as I get down to the bottom. Hopefully this entices some that can. A nice quick shot secures my first snapper. With all the commotion, I decide on another deeper ambush. The baitfish do a good job at providing great cover. A good start with the travel gun, 3 shots and 3 fish. It was time to move and find another spot. We came across this good reefy area that again had current. Current is your best friend when spearfishing in New Zealand. I get to the upcurrent side of the bit of reef and then decide to go down and break some sea urchins or kinner to attract some more snapper in. Here's a bit of a safety tip, and I would strongly advise against doing it.
Never break open kinner with the back of your spear gun, especially when it's loaded. Obviously it's not very good for your spear gun, but it's very dangerous. There's plenty of rocks all over the bottom, or you can use drop weights to do it. Unload your spear gun when you go to the bottom, because you'll never use a rifle butt to break something open, so you shouldn't do it with your spear gun either. Be safe.
We swim down current away from the rock, allowing the ground bait to do its job, and then come over to see what's there. This was a perfect spot with all the current pouring onto the front face, and that's just going to feed more and more fish. As soon as I shoot this fish, I get it away from my ground bait so to not to spook too many fish in the general area. The 90cm travel gun having no problem punching through this fish. I had made another ground bait that I could go in between these two, so I was off to check the second one. Again, there was good current flow through this gutter, which is so important if you're laying ground baits or trying to find fish. It pays to take your time, as fish can pop out from anywhere in these situations. On my way back to ground bait number one, I spied a nice hole. So of course I unloaded my spear gun, took it with me to the bottom and pointed it in the opposite direction that I planned on going. This is an important safety aspect to keep in mind. Don't leave your loaded spear gun lying on the bottom. A nice crayfish to add to the mix. Back at ground bait number 1, and more fish have turned up. I play the snapper gently as I'm not sure how well the shot is, but on closer inspection it's holding through a nice hard bit in the head. Of course, with all this commotion, the bronze whaler sharks are never far away. We're going to have to make sure to stay on our toes and land our fish quickly. A similar story with ground bait number 2, with more snapper back on it. There's a bigger distance for me to close the gap between this ledge and where the ground bait is, so I'm taking my time just watching the snapper, waiting for it to make a mistake. We'll get this one into the Wettie float boat quickly to avoid any problems with that shark. We found this nice congregation of mado. If you find these stripy fish when you're diving in New Zealand, you're in a good spot. They're a cleaner fish, and things like these Trevally and Kingfish like to hang out in these areas. Strong current hitting a face creates upwelling, where things like kingfish, snapper, trevally and other species like to congregate. We're just having a good look at this kingfish as we're worried it might be marginal size, but eventually decide it looks like it's big enough. And on inspection, this was more than big enough. It will make some fantastic sashimi. The thought's always in the back of your mind when fighting a kingfish like this, that old Mr. Bronze Whaler is going to be nearby. So I helped Sophie out to make sure we dispatch this fish quickly and get it into the float boat. The longer we leave the fish struggling, the more likely we'll have shark issues. Kingfish can be ferocious hunters. As you'll see here, this one's been eating some goatfish. You find all sorts of strange species in their stomach at times. Back on that fishy spot, I hear a noise from above and turn around to see Sophie chasing away a big shark. We have one last attempt on ground bait number 1, and now this time Sophie's in the hot seat. This camouflage snapper was hard to spot, but Sophie lands a decent shot on it. It just shows the real importance of diving where there's plenty of current. We managed to get 3 nice snapper off this one ground bait purely because it was fed by lots of current.
It's turned into a good dive with the Wettie Travel Speargun at 90 centimetres with a snapper reel on it. We managed to get plenty of fish. It's extremely accurate and it's got more than enough power to be punching through. It's a really nice snapper. A good end to our dive.